welcome to Chit Chat with me, Christina Cox. Today I'm speaking with Sara McCarthy. She's a strategic communicator and marketer and a ton of fun to get to know. So do yourself a favor, find her on LinkedIn and start your conversation now. Well, Sara, thank you for joining me today here on Chit Chat. I first met you at Belk. Remind me, about fall last year, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think officially we might have just jumped into the month of December, and I was able to join on the communications team, and you were my first friendly face walking in the door on my first day, and it was such a good learning experience for me. So it really got things started on the right foot.
That's right, because you were one of my very first orientation classes that I taught solo, and so you didn't know this, but you were also my guinea pig at the time.
Well, and I remember we got such good one-on-one attention because it was myself and one other new trainee starting that day, and so we had this kind of open field to ask any and every question we wanted without feeling embarrassed or worried about if we felt like it was a silly question.
Yeah, and I'm so glad I could have been there for you for that day, and that we got to meet. So the point of Chit Chat is I started thinking about, as we're all looking for jobs and carefully combing over our resume, I started thinking about my first job, and I wanted to get to know people that I know or maybe don't know very well, and get to know, like, what was your first job and where did you start in this long line of career for you?
Sure. So I think I kind of count two. And there's one that was during my time in undergrad, and then the official, like, really in the job market. And the one during undergrad, I think it ended up shaping me a huge amount. And that was, I was a tour guide with the University Ambassador Program at the University of South Carolina. And it was one of the best experiences I could have asked for, as far as it taught you all of the ins and outs of customer service. And then on top of that, you got to meet so many people day in and day out. Plus, you got to share about something that you're really excited about. And I think it ended up impacting me in every position I've taken since then. I've applied some of those skills. So that's the first one where I had that real paycheck coming in, had my schedule and everything like that. And then also too, once I graduated and was on my way, I was really lucky to work for a nonprofit, the Mecklenburg County Bar. And I got to wear just so many different hats in just one job.
Yeah. Was there anything in those first jobs that stuck out to you and that, like, really connected and you thought, oh, like, I know what I'm doing. This feels like me?
Yeah, I think really the communication piece of both of them, and being able to share something with someone new, share information, share an experience, answer a question, both as a tour guide. And then at the Bar Association, I was involved in their communication side as well as their event side. So some of that tour guide skill set transferred really well into events, and just realizing that that ability of interacting with others and being able to help them and answer questions really tied throughout.
Yeah, and that takes a certain someone to be able to kind of pivot with you maybe are handling, like, something that's not so pleasant directly behind doors, and then turn to someone and go, yeah, how can I help you? So I could see how that definitely was one of your skill sets.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I think a lot of our event planners out there deserve even more credit, because they are fantastic at learning how to jump from one situation to the next. And they're kind of the ultimate problem solvers.
Sure. Yeah, well, all with a smile, right?
Right?
You never know the building's burning down behind you.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, so when I was younger, I didn't know there was such a thing as, like, communications teams or marketing. When you were little, what was, your interest? What was your, like, dream job that you thought you would end up doing?
I had to think about this one, and if I probably would need to ask my mom, because I don't remember being one of those kids who had this awesome, like I want to be a fireman or I want to be a veterinarian. I do remember my mom was an art teacher, and I remember that being one of the professions that I really identified with. I understood how it worked, and I could see myself, oh, maybe one day taking that up. But I think it changed a couple times. Teacher was one that was woven in throughout. Broadcast journalist was a pretty serious one for a little while, got inspired by different TV anchors I watched as well.
Yeah. And where did you grow up?
So I grew up just outside of Raleigh, North Carolina. So we had a lot of good local news stations and getting to watch, I think, different voices and perspectives there. I think that's when it got in my head kind of in high school. And that was the one where I went into college fully prepared to be on TV, possibly take over the anchor desk one day, and got, a little redirected after my freshman year, but I love where I landed anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's so important for students, especially in college, to go in and be able to have that time to redirect, because to your point, if you don't really have that end goal of like, yes, I'm going to be a veterinarian, or what it may be, you need that time, and you need those gen eds, you need to talk to other people and learn and diversify kind of your world, because you can go into college with such a tunnel vision on.
Absolutely. I think it's really interesting too, when I was very fortunate that I was able to kind of find my path in the same overall major in school. I ended up in public relations, and I even feel even more lucky that that's one of the degrees that opens up more than just one door. And I found that it has been a good segue into a couple different directions. But I agree, when you're 18 years old, if you don't have that one passion that's been a constant for years, those early years, maybe an advisor, maybe those gen eds, they are so influential on where you end up.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so pivoting from work, let's look at kind of you, Sara.
Yeah.
What do you like to do outside of work?
Sure. So I think pre-quarantine, pre-COVID, definitely my husband and I had started to travel, and I've traveled a lot too as a kid. Doesn't have to be anywhere fancy or anywhere far away, but just being able even to get up to the mountains, explore different parts of the US. We've been able to go to a couple different climates, maybe a little somewhere warmer, a little somewhere cooler. We went to Ireland. So that was a number one that I would have at the top of my list. And now it's just adjusted a little bit to really getting that time outside, even in our own backyard, has been amazing during the past couple months. I tried my hand per se at a little bit of tile and masonry work, and redid our fireplace. And I think next, I'm probably going to bite off more than I can chew, but I think next I'm going to tackle an addition to our deck out back.
Go
So
for
we'll
it.
see how it goes.
I love it. I'll need pictures.
Absolutely. Also too, I've just sent in an application to start a professional and executive coaching certification. So it's like a new set of classes that I'm going to undertake. And I think it fits with sales, it fits with marketing, but it would teach me how to coach others to take that next step. And so I think a really neat, I don't know if it'll evolve into by any means a full-time career, but I think that could be something that's really helpful for a lot of folks as we all like dive back into it. Wherever I end up or land, I was like, maybe that's a really good background or skill set to hone in on.
Good. Well, Sara, I wish you the best of luck as your job search continues.
Sounds great. Thanks, Christina. Same to you.
Thank you.